I'll just bring up the text size as well, but make it easier for you guys to read. Can't slow down from Deputy Liaison Officer of Can Slow. From August through December 2003, Said Today published a series of articles on second-party SIGINT cooperation. So we would be very interested in this because second-party cooperation is the Five Eyes. So this is Canada, New Zealand, Australia, America, and UK, and that grouping.
Yeah.
Canada's CSEC, well, they're saying the Communication Security Establishment, which is even more broad than Canada's CSEC, has its turn in the limelight on August 27, so they're going to profile them. However, the CSE article it's past tense. However, the CSE article had a glaring omission. It didn't say anything about us. We are the Canadian Special Liaison Office, so they are the conduit to NSA on the Canadian side. And they're at NSA HQ. So this means that the unfortunately, because I'm browsing on Intercept, I can't highlight the sentence. But what this means is that the liaison officers are situated at the NSA. So the NSA actually has Canadian spies, Australian spies, presumably probably a New Zealand spy, and UK spies physically on site at NSA. We also know there are NSA liaison officers on site within the Five Eyes spy agencies. So it's not just that they have like a paper partnership, they physically have personnel available.
Interesting.
Okay. Articles about NSA's second party partners often start in the past with a historical overview of partnership. While we value CSE's shared history with NSA and believe there is much to learn from it, CanSlow's focuses on the future. The chief of CSA has made CanSlow accountable for the health of the CSE NSA partnership. They're obsessed with the word health, which is ironic considering they assist with killing people for a living. Yeah. And that means not just keeping it alive and well today, but ensuring that it can, sorry, I find this hard to read, the health of the relationship and keeping it alive and well. Well, be sure not to target them with a drone strike then, but ensuring that it continues strong and productive for years to come. But what is a healthy partnership?
It's a really great example of newspeak, like where it's reversing what it means. And so, anyway, but and that's definitely, it's a repeating kind of metaphor we're seeing these documents now that we haven't really seen in earlier ones. So I wonder if that's like a buzzword somebody thought of in a meeting somewhere and they decided to put into everything. I don't know, but
you know how in criminal organizations, when gangs or whatever, they're recruiting on new recruits, they involve them in serious crimes so that they're equally culpable for them, so that they then have their loyalty going forward because they've got the dirt on them.
Yeah.
It's just occurred to me literally this second that that's what they're doing with the Five Eye partners. So we know from Snowden docs that Australia, Pine Gap is involved in the drone targeting missions, that New Zealand is involved in drone targeting missions. We know Germany and others are involved in drone targeting missions. I get the feeling that NSA, what's the correct word, not just disperses responsibility, but they're involving the international countries, partners in these dirty missions.
Yeah.
To, in a way, not just legitimize it, but in a way make it like it incentivizes them not to ever blow the whistle on it or question it or whatever, because they become equally culpable.
Yeah, it cements the bond between them for sure.
Yeah. It's just pervasive. Okay. Keeping it alive and well, ensuring it continues to be right, strong and productive. What is a healthy partnership? Another article in last year's Said Today series mentioned the continued effectiveness of cryptologic collaboration. Effective collaboration is definitely part of our healthy partnership, but we think there's even more to it. NSA is CSE's most important cryptologic partner, and we in turn want NSA to view CSE as an important partner, not just historically or anecdotally, but in real, current and practical terms. And see, there's this dependency. relationship that they have. So they say that the second tier parties are all equal, like they're literally on one tier. But what they've done is they've made it so that, Canada's most important partner is the USA. Australia's most important partner is the USA. New Zealand's most important partner is the USA. It's like this business dependency. So like we're all partners, it's collaborative, we're in it together, we do it all together, but your most important partner is the USA.
Yeah, it's like a manipulative relationship of any kind where you have that you create that dependency. Yeah, for sure.
Chancellor is working with CSE HQ to develop a partnership framework which will entrench a corporate culture of always seeking opportunities to make valuable, tangible contributions to NSA.
Of course, of course.
And how does a liaison? So it's they leech the resources and the expertise off the partners, but at the same time they tell the partners, we are your most important, valuable relationship, even though we are literally sucking everything that you have to give us and then deciding which parts of what we have we'll give back to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And how does a liaison office keep a partnership healthy? In many ways, it's like keeping a person healthy.
They really love that metaphor, don't they? I really am thinking, because we're seeing so much emphasis on it, and because we haven't seen this before, it really does sound to me like somebody like brainstormed that in some sort of group meeting, and they just go, yes, we love it, put it everywhere, because they just.
Because we didn't see this in the first three batches. Yeah. The word healthy was never ever used.
Exactly.
This is the second document in a week, and in this batch, almost back to back, that has contained this constant reference to healthy relationships. There's absolutely nothing healthy about these relationships. These relationships are effective. Okay, rant time means I get out of screen share for a minute. These relationships are traitorous relationships. They are not healthy relationships. In these relationships, the second party partners hoover up the data of their own citizens, of the people who they are supposed to serve and protect, and they send it to a foreign nation. They don't even send it. They sell it to a foreign nation. That is treason by definition. If any single person in New Zealand with access to private data of New Zealand citizens takes it and sells it to a foreign government, that is treason. It's literally treason. So this relationship, this healthy relationship, is in fact industrialized, institutionalized treason on a massive scale. Total, utter treason, which I don't believe any public of any country in the world approves of. If you say to a single person in New Zealand, do you want the spy agencies to sell your data to America? Not one New Zealander will say, yes, that's a great idea. Do it. I'll feel so much safer. None of them will ever tell you that. Yeah. So this is the spy agencies doing it for the benefit of the spy agencies and their customers. It has absolutely nothing to do with the public.
Absolutely. Completely agree.
Rant over. Back to the document. How does a liaison office keep a partnership healthy? By bending over backwards to suck up to the NSA is what it sounds like. In many ways, it's like keeping a person healthy. Oh my God.
Did they just say it? Wait. Are we rereading that?
I think someone needs to read this that can actually read it with a straight face, because honest to God, I can't believe what I'm about to read. How am I going to say this with a straight face? Just as a good doctor will know as much as possible about the patient. Oh my God. Yes, it's just like going to the doctor, having your personal data sold to a foreign country. It's just like going to the doctor for a checkup.
Susie's like, mic drop, walk out.
the hell? And like, who wrote this? And like, usually for any new viewers, I'd just like to point out that usually we just read through the document like straight with no commentary, and then we go over and analyze it. But I can't even read this without having a fit. The NSA says that giving them all of the private data of your citizens, which is treason, is the same as going to the doctor for a checkup.
Well, it does. They both do involve personal, private information that should never be shared. But the outcome of that is a little bit different, usually, I hope. But somebody, you can tell reading this, somebody really is so proud of themselves that they came up with that metaphor. You can just feel it. You know, they're just so like buzzed, like, man, I have a great analogy, and I'm just gonna put it everywhere that I write.
I can't believe my eyes. I'm just going to screenshot that because it is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever in my life heard.
To keep the nation healthy, the NSA is really required to get in there and know everything about everyone, right? I mean, that's really necessary and helpful. And without that, see, that creates the issue that without that, all of us would just die, you know, like we would just all cease to be able to function without the NSA's wonderful surveillance of us all. So that imagery is just wonderful. Like you said, it's like it's definitely creating that false dependency for sure. I'm gonna check on chat really fast and see what the outrage looks like.
You can just see the tweet that I'm sending right now. I can't believe my eyes, honest to God.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I can really sense that somebody was extremely proud of themselves when they wrote that, and that I really genuinely feel like this was probably brainstormed somewhere. And so, you know, when somebody came up with it, the meeting was like slapping him on the back, going, "Oh yeah, wonderful." That's just my off the cuff interpretation of that. Yeah, and then Cassie R said, violation of HIPAA laws in the US are a very serious, heinous metaphor comparison. Absolutely. I think that's really concerning. And that's actually been one of my concerns is as medical records have shifted from paper copies to digital copies, I've thought about that. The fact that the NSA probably does actually have access to all of it. Legality is completely aside.
That's actually one of the scariest aspects of what they do is the fact that they can access your medical records. It's actually worse than that. It's not just that they can access your medical records, which are largely unencrypted in New Zealand, at least. Most of the doctors' databases and stuff are actually completely unencrypted at a GP level. But it's worse than that because then the GP goes and orders your prescription or whatever and script and sends it to the chemist. And then the chemist databases are all unencrypted as well, which makes you wonder, like, at some point in the future, if not already, that a malicious player could actually manipulate that data.
Yeah.
Manipulate your medical record or your prescriptions.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody wants to harm you in an off the record type of way, all they would have to do is manipulate, you know, a vulnerable person's prescription, and it could really, really seriously result in a bad outcome. So it's absolutely horrendous.
In my head, just as a good doctor will know as much as possible about the person.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the document. Just as a good doctor will know as much as possible about the person, Canslow gathers information on the most bilaterally relevant activities and plans at both NSA and CSE through research and contact with subject matter experts on both sides of the border. Unfortunately, we know for a fact that they don't just gather information on bilaterally relevant activities and plans. In fact, they just allow the NSA to tap the cables and everything is collected, all of it.
Yeah, everything.
That's a tall order for a team of 6. Currently, our office comprises Senior Liaison Officer, 4 deputy liaison officers, and an office administrator. We divide the load based on our respective, see how many people are in Canada? And it only takes 6 of them to sell Canadian sovereignty to the NSA. We divide the load based on our respective expertise in SIGINT, InfoSec, and enabling corporate functions. What do you do for a job? I enable corporate functions.
Pays the bills.
Lieutenant Colonel someone is a recent addition to our team as CanSlow's first ever military liaison officer, allowing us to greatly increase our knowledge and understanding of the military aspects of our partnership. However, we still see room to improve, so over the next few months we will be taking a fresh look at our organisational structure, staffing and division of effort with a view to evolving a more strategically focused CanSlow. Of course, CanSlow may be the partnership's general practitioner, but we don't pretend to be the expert authorities on all business lines. Just as your family doctor might consult with other physicians or even refer you to a specialist, CanSlow is part of a network of CSE people and organisations who all have a part to play in keeping the partnership healthy. In fact, CSE employees and managers are encouraged to establish and maintain peer-to-peer partnerships with their NSA counterparts, and CanSlow then supports them in these partnerships in myriad ways. Another example of the team approach to partnership. That's like euphemism after euphemism after, like team approach to partnership, or like global approach to mass surveillance.
Yeah.
Is the annual NSA CSE SIGINT bilateral meeting, which this year was held at NSAW on 15th, 16th of November. The bilat brings our respective SIGINT leaders and counterpart managers together to discuss SIGINT issues that both agencies have identified as priorities, while CanSlow plays a supporting role, helping with advanced preparations, attending the meetings and tracking follow-on actions. A report on this year's meeting will be posted soon. There is much more going on in CanSlow, but as a final example of how a liaison office keeps the partnership healthy, and to put this medical analogy out of its misery, euthanasia time, everyone needs to eat, and CanSlow applies this prescription for health quite literally to our bilateral partnership. One of our most pleasant duties is to host hospitality events, which we see as an opportunity to thank our good NSA partners for their support and contributions. Even if you've never had a chance to attend one of our events, our door is always open. We would love to hear from you, and you never know what kind of Canadian delicacies, see somewhat related article, we might have in the office on any given day.
Wow.
I could know some Canadian activists that would be particularly interested in that document.